Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Skylar Dream and I am a self-taught digital artist, crocheter, and small business owner. On the screen for you is my wonderful little Kageyuki, who's here to serve as a visual interest, so that way you're not staring at my torso the entire time, because this is a faceless vlog format. So welcome back. And it is Tuesday. I didn't film yesterday because I just got caught up doing chores and I didn't get a chance to film. I also wasn't feeling all too well yesterday. The headache kind of came back a little bit more painfully than in the other days. If I were to put it on the pain scale, I'd say nothing beyond a 7. But it did come back pretty strong yesterday. I struggled going to sleep and didn't really get much rest last night. And today the headache did hang around for a little bit through a lot of the morning, and it did subside at some point, but it was still noticeably there. And even right now, I'm not feeling all too well, and after 2 weeks of dealing with this on and off, I've decided to finally go to the doctor tomorrow to get it checked out and figure out what's going on here, because this is the longest I've ever had to deal with headaches. Because for me, headaches usually just last one evening and they're gone the next morning, and I don't get them frequently either. So for me to have this is very strange and irregular for me, and I probably should have gone to the doctor sooner. But yeah. I wasn't expecting it to hang around this long or keep coming back this persistently, but after 2 weeks, I think it's time I go get it checked out. So anyway, yeah, still dealing with a little bit of headache, and I'm planning to stream today. I was honestly debating it. I don't really want to skip another stream day and have like 2 consecutive weeks of missed streams. I did stream last week, but I don't want to make this week one that I miss a stream. So I am going to stream this evening, and I'm going to continue working on Caleb and get through his rendering. So yeah, the other thing I did do yesterday, aside from vlog editing, is I did get started on more Chubzillas in the red and gray color tone. So right now I have the spine for the gray. I have the arms and legs for the red. And then I should have one more little foot over here for the gray. So I have gotten started on this color combination for the Chubzillas. So at the very least, that got started last night as well with some vlog editing. And today we're gonna hop on drawing, because the sooner I can wrap up Caleb, the sooner I can get the lads boys out to manufacturers. And I think I'm gonna make this week a week of trying to pump out sticker designs, so that way before the month ends I can send out my designs to manufacturers so I could get them turned into stickers at the very least. I can't guarantee acrylic charms, because I do want to make charms out of the boys. Out of the other sticker designs out of all the other designs, we'll see what I decide should become an acrylic charm. But for now, the lads boys I do want to turn into acrylic charms, and it is currently March 17, so I'm giving myself until the end of this week, maybe going into half of next week, to work on designs and get the files prepped so I can send them out to manufacturers, and hopefully I can get them in within the month. So yeah, that's roughly going to be the plan for this week. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, there have been flies coming into the apartment. It's that time of the summer where there are just bugs coming in and out. So yeah, that was one of my nuisances. Yeah, anyway, the plan. Anyway, so I think the plan for this week is going to be render Caleb and get his rendering wrapped up, and maybe potentially before the weekends get backgrounds for him and Xavier, so that way I can just completely wrap up all the lads boys and get that series done and over with. Then once that's all completed, I can focus on other sticker designs and hopefully get those designs out and ready for manufacturers within the next week and a half, hopefully, praying, and might require a Sunday worth of work. But anyway, that's going to be the plan for this evening. I am going to render Caleb and see how far I get, and then if I get the chance I might crochet a little bit, but the main priority to this evening is going to be Caleb, and we are going to be streaming this evening. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. So, Tuesday update, and good news. Went to the doctors, and they pretty much did a CAT scan and found nothing physically wrong with my brain. So no tumors, no blood vessels, everything came back normal. So that's the good news. Bad news, I didn't get a pain med prescribed because, to be honest, I've been taking Advils and now ibuprofens, and the pain meds have been doing close to nothing for me. So no pain meds, that's the bad news. In neutral news, they did say that more than likely, with how my headaches have been behaving and the fact that they move around my head quite a bit and sometimes go to the area behind my eyes, it could very well be a vision issue. So they recommended that I make an appointment with an optometrist and get my sight checked out. And I do wear glasses, and it has been a while since I've seen an optometrist, and I know I'm overdue for an optometry visit. So tomorrow I'm gonna be kind of going around and trying to figure out if I can get an appointment sooner rather than later. I tried getting one today while I was at the doctor's with my regular provider, and I thought I won and got an appointment for the same day, but I guess the lady gave me the wrong information, and it was going to be an appointment for Friday, and I kind of live far from my provider, so decided to cancel it and see if there are any options that are nearby that won't be too far out. So tomorrow I'm going to be scheduling doctor's appointments. When I got home, the headache kind of came back a little bit on the full force, so I did lie down, take a nap, and got some rest. And thankfully right now it's kind of subsided to something that's like, it's like I can tell it's still there, but it's not painful or like physically debilitating for me. So right now it's kind of just like it's kind of hovering within my realm of notice. That's gonna be tomorrow. I'm pretty much just gonna be calling doctors, trying to figure out appointment dates. I'm also going to put a little bit more effort into my health, and I will say I've been neglecting going to the doctors for quite a few years now, and I think with me turning 30 and having a few more medical incidents more often than what's normal for me, I'm going to put in more effort into my physical health as well and actually make doctor's appointments a regular thing again, because I'll be honest, I've been neglecting my health in that respect. So yeah, gonna start going to the doctors more. So anywho, that's pretty much been my day. Went to the doctors, got good news, and yeah, ended up grabbing poke for lunch, and did also make a stop at the bookstore. Got volume 4 of Engage. So don't know if there's more. I don't know if there's more that's gonna come out for the series, but did get one manga, and I was debating on buying another book, but decided against it. I did also just get the loan for Silver Elite, so I'm going to give the audiobook a listen because I think our local Walmart has the special edition version of the book. So depending on how I feel about the audiobook, I might get the special edition, so we'll see. But yeah, I did make a brief stop to the bookstore while I was in the area and got a huge ice cream cone, much larger than I was expecting because I ordered a small and I did not realize a small was going to be that much ice cream. But yeah, got myself small treats just to kind of make myself feel better from the headaches. And the drive home was pretty difficult because it did kind of come back, and it was just like, yeah, it's one of those, it's on and on off again. So the sooner I can get my eyes checked out, probably the better, and the sooner that this headache will go away. But yeah, they were pretty much telling me it might be a more vision related issue than it is like anything going on with my brain. So yeah, physically, nothing wrong with my brain. Psychologically, that's yet to be diagnosed or determined, so that one's on hold until further notice. Anyway, the peer review does agree on ADHD potentially, but have not officially gotten a diagnosis for that, and still don't see it as a pressing issue. But anyway, aside from that, I don't really have much else to share. I was pretty much just at the doctor's, and then the second I got home, my headache came back, and I was just down. So yeah, right now it's feeling a little bit okay. And oh, I also have great news. The Amazon order I placed for the booth display or the table display came in today. So I'll show you guys what came in the mail in a little bit. Okay, so my Amazon order, and I am very sorry to the USPS person who had to deliver it because this thing is pretty heavy. So let's see, a little bit of an unboxing today. Okay, lots of packing paper. Have to check really quick because I don't know. Ooh, is that sticker big? No, it's not. Okay, that's just a general packing sticker. So, lots of paper. Okay, so the safety eyes. Ooh, yay, these are the big ones. I ordered the right things. More of the yarn for Nessie, and I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that. And I'm pretty sure this is a tablecloth. It's hard to do this with one hand. Okay, everyone place your bets. How likely am I to become a gore show? Swear to God, I'm gonna cut myself one of these days, and it's one of those things that like I cut myself, like not intentionally, by accident. Like I have this one cut on my wrist right now. No, it was not intentional. I was doing high kicks and I accidentally scratched myself with my toe. So yeah, that was an accident. That was an accident. That was not intentional. But here are the two tablecloths. We'll do this quickly because my camera is blinking at me angrily. And then this is the wire grids, which this is a heavy one. And then this should be the acrylic stand. Where do you open, sir? Where does this open? This the back. Okie dokie. How does this box open? Okay. It's hard to... Okay. I'm gonna put you guys down. And finally, the wire grids. And honestly, I'm still debating over whether or not I'm gonna get the solid color panels, but I haven't been able to find any in the exact same colors as my branding. And the connectors with the small little mallet. So, yeah. I think over the weekend I'm gonna set aside some time to start crafting the mock display and start bringing some of the products and start getting some of my products out so that I can start like getting a better idea of how the display is going to turn out. So yeah, gonna set aside some time over the weekend to start working on potential layouts and how I'm gonna display everything. So that's pretty much the Amazon haul, and Nessie will finally see her hind flippers. Hello everyone, it is now 1 p.m. on Thursday, and listened to my doctor's advice and ended up getting some rest in the morning. So this morning I got up later than usual and I just let myself stay in bed and go at a much slower pace than usual and just got some rest in. And then once I got up, had breakfast, I pretty much just spent most of the morning going around town to local optometrists to see if anybody had any openings to get my eyes checked. Thankfully, the closest date I could find was in April, but that will require me to go out of town, unfortunately. So it's not the most ideal, but I did manage to find something in April versus August. So yeah, that just how it be. But I'm hoping if there are any cancellations, because I did ask if they could move me up the queue if they had any openings or any cancellations. So that way they could take me in sooner. That would be great. So hopefully they are able to move me up on the wait list. But for now, at the very least, I do have something scheduled. Hooray. I also tried to schedule my physical, have to wait for my doctor to get back on me to see if there's any dates available, because it's been a while since I've seen my actual doctor, and they have nurse practitioners ready, but because it's been such a long time, I think I want to see my primary care physician, not just a nurse. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for that call back, but now that I'm done going through trying to schedule appointments, it's now 1, I just finished eating lunch, and I'm feeling a lot better today. Today the headaches have been more on the subtle side. It tried coming back in again once I got home from driving around town to find an optometrist. So did lie down for a little bit and just relaxed until it was time for lunch. And now I'm feeling a little bit better, so I'm trying to fight working on mood, because right now I just want to work on crocheting when I know I need to work on sticker design. So I'm going to try working on some illustrations for a little while, and I think we're going to try and wrap up Caleb today. That way I can focus on the sticker designs I have ready in my sketchbook, and we can quickly get those out in the next couple of days. So I think that's going to be the plan for today, and just take things slow and at my own pace and not pushing myself too hard. And yeah, giving my body the grace it needs so that the headaches don't come back full force, or if they do, I actually let myself take a break and rest. So yeah, that's how it's going to be for a little bit. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Update. Thankfully, the headache hasn't really come back in full swing. If anything, the most it's gotten to was just like a very dull throb closer to the evening after I had dinner. But good news, I actually was able to get my appointment moved up to Monday. So hopefully with the eye checkup, that will pretty much resolve whatever's going on between my eyes and my head. So, because according to the doctor, everything came back normal, so more than likely it's an eye issue. And hopefully with the eye checkup, hopefully a new prescription, it'll resolve whatever's going on with my head. But yeah, headache did try to come back a little bit, but thankfully it wasn't anything too painful. It was just more of a dull throb. So was able to spend most of the evening working on more Chubzilla. So we have one more for the market, and then I have a second one in the alternating color scheme in the whip bag. So got one more Chubzilla, and also got the chance to start on the jackalope. So this is going to be the arms for the jackalope, and then this is the body. Thankfully it's not too big, so I think I can make quite a few of these before the market. And yeah, so we got jackalope body and the 2 arms. And the really cool thing about this pattern, it's the first time I've ever done it, but the crochet in the round to start off the arms is a half double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet 2 times. So first time I've ever done half double crochet to start the within the magic ring. So, and then the second part, I've actually never done this before, and you're pretty much crocheting the arms onto the body. So that's going to be interesting. So first time I've done it, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so far this is the jackalope. If anything, the jackalope is going to have the 2 hind legs, the head, and then the antlers. So we'll see how long that takes. And hopefully, because of the size, we can make a few of these before May. But yeah. And I'm also realizing part of the reason I'm not really filming as much in terms of me physically crocheting is because it is getting warmer. I just threw the shirt on because I'm filming right now, but when it gets warmer, I tend to wear more tank tops, and because this is a faceless vlog, I don't know how I feel about just filming my torso and not my face, and just having my torso in the cameras. But yeah, I don't know how comfortable I feel about crocheting while wearing a tank top, but yeah. And at some point in the summer, I know it's going to be too hot that I won't even want to put on a shirt to film. So yeah, we'll see how we're going to film the crochet portions from here on out, because yeah, again, I don't know how I feel about filming myself crocheting while wearing a tank top. If anything, I might change up the camera angle so that you guys see more of my hands than a front view. But yeah, we'll see how that ends up working out. I may have to kind of think of more unique ways and a more unique camera angle while I'm crocheting, especially in the summer, because again, at some point it's gonna get too hot that I won't even want to like The shirt is going to be unbearable. It's going to be tank tops all of summer. And at some point, it's going to be crop tops too, so yeah. Yeah. We're going to find new ways to film crochet. Also, in other news, I did manage to complete Caleb, full render and background, so let me show you that right now. Here's Caleb, and there's still some aspects of his proportion that I'm not entirely happy with, but overall, I do think he's still cute, and I actually do like how I rendered his eyes, so I might start rendering eyes more like this in moving forward, but I don't know if I'm going to add a little bit more orange to the little bit of the background just to help balance out some of that color, but yeah, this is how Caleb turned out, and I think tomorrow I'll get Xavier's background in place, which shouldn't take long, and then I'll trace over some of the sticker designs I have in my sketchbook. I realized that I've been talking a lot about the sticker designs that I have in my sketchbook, but I haven't really shown any of the newer ones that I've drawn yet. In previous vlogs, I've shown the Devi Ghost and the two birds, but I've also been working on this. I forgot what the text was supposed to be, but I think it was something along the lines of "Rip Your Heart Out." And then there was another one with like a skeleton hand and a human hand, and I might have it holding a heart that says "I do." Anyway, but so here's one sticker for Riddick's I Hate Sewing line from Onyx Storm. And then I was debating on whether or not to do this because there is a scene in Onyx Storm where Riddick is peeling the orange and then the inside of the orange is frozen. So I was thinking of doing like a small little sticker for that. And then originally I was gonna do the Void Stares Back with this Andarna, but then I realized like this is a little bit too close to a realistic looking dragon, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. And I did something with a little bit more of a chibi proportion, so it's gonna be the Void Stares Back, and pretty much this is just kind of like a tip of the hat to the fact that Andarna can blend into her environments pretty much like a chameleon. And yeah, so we have the Void Stares Back. It's ultimately going to go with a chibi route. I also have the idea of having her kind of just like be like curled up in a ball, but I'm not sure if, yeah, I'm not sure about that. We might just stick to her sitting up and just staring back at you almost menacingly. And then the We Do Not Eat Our Allies, which I did kind of modify it a little bit more so that it fits closer to this style. So we have this one that I think is a little bit more animated. And so, yeah, we pretty much went from this to this. Oh yeah, and then the My Throne, My Chair, My Woman, or My Home, My Chair, My Woman. I'm debating on that one, honestly. I don't really have a solid thought or plan for that one. And then there was one scene in the book that I think this was in Iron Flame, and where basically Andarna breathes fire for the first time, and I just thought it was super cute because Andarna says, "I breathe fire," and then Terran has a line that says, "You breathe fire," and I just thought that was the cutest thing. And originally, part of this design was going to involve Terran, almost like a proud father figure, and I'm debating if I'm going to roll that in or not. But yeah, those are some of the sticker ideas and sketches that I have going so far. There's also another idea that I'm going to say, it's based off of another quote in Fourth Wing, where they pretty much say like, it's like a family theme quote. I'm going to have to look it back up, but that's also going to be another potential sticker. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to begin tracing a lot of these into my, I'm going to begin tracing these so that I have them digitally, and then begin working from there. I might do a couple of more touch-ups, but for the most part, these are pretty much ready to line and then color, so hopefully I get a few sticker designs pumped out relatively quick. Alright, so this is progress for the jackalope, and my head is beginning to lightly throb again, so I think I'll call it here for tonight and get some rest. So far, so good progress on the jackalope. Hello everyone, as you guys saw, we're finally getting started on the sticker designs and thought I'd get started with the My Therapist Said I'm Unstoppable sticker. And good news, we've also gotten progress on both Xavier and Caleb, so now both Caleb and Xavier are finished. So Xavier just got his background today and now they're both rendered, background, and signed. Now I just need to get them glazed and posted to my accounts. So that brings a wrap to the Lads Myth chibis, and I'm thinking depending on how far I get on the stickers, we'll begin setting up the files to send out to a manufacturer for stickers at the very least. I'm also going to set up the files for acrylic charms as well. We'll see how quickly we can get to those. But I'm thinking as of this time, the Myth chibis are definitely going to get acrylic charms. I'm still debating if any of the designs that I'm working on for stickers will also get acrylic charms, but we'll see. We'll see. And just a quick little update for today. Pretty much after I got up, had breakfast, I immediately got on to chores. So I went out and did groceries early while I was still feeling well. And then by the time I got back, kept my groceries, I just jumped right into drawing. So wrapped up Xavier and also got started on the ghost. So shortly after I finished coloring it, I started feeling lightheaded, so I did go lie down and took a nap for the past hour. So feeling better now and ready to get back to work. So I'm thinking of getting a couple of more of the sticker designs traced and colored before the day ends. That way we can get all of them pretty much set up and ready for rendering sooner rather than later. And depending on how many I can get done over the weekend, we'll see how quickly we can get to setting up the files and creating stickers and more merch out of them. There are a couple of them. I'm not sure if I'm going to turn them into prints or not, but we shall see. But yeah, don't want to run up costs too high now that I think about it, but we'll see, we'll see. But for sure, these are going to be primarily for stickers. Whether if I decide to make them into charms as well, we shall see, because charms do rack up a higher price point and they do take a little longer to manufacture. But for right now, the priority are stickers. So we'll get to more of the designs, get them lined and colored today, and maybe work on a little bit of crocheting for a little bit as well. So yeah, I guess goals are going to be get as many of them lined and colored, and then we'll see how Saturday and Sunday are going to look. And that's just been a quick update, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Or you know what, we might even crochet for a little while, who knows. It is Saturday, and we started off a bit on the strong side. I got up relatively early for a Saturday and managed to get quite a few errands done. The car that desperately needed a wash is now clean and no longer covered in dead bugs. So one car's clean. Also made a stop to the Dollar Tree to find a couple of supplies for the table display, and unfortunately the Dollar Tree was kind of empty and didn't really have a lot of what I was looking for and was hoping to find. I did get some poster board. It's not in my brand color and I didn't want to paint a white one, so I picked up a black one to kind of act as a cover for the grids when I display the acrylic charms. And I was debating on whether or not to get one of the panels for the grid display. And I figured when it comes to the panels, I'll probably make that into a future expense for a future market. I'm already spending a lot for this table by itself, and I still need to get a square reader. And outside of merch purchases, and in terms of like prints, stickers, and acrylic charms, I'm keeping that as a separate expense because ultimately those are products that are also going to hit my Etsy and my online store eventually. So I'm not really counting them as part of the market expense. I'm just going to count them as a general expense. So in terms of like stuff for this specific market, I kind of want to keep my expense a little bit more contained because I still need to purchase a square reader. And buying a 6 cube panel grid, that's going to be another $20, $30. So, and on top of that, I can't really quite find the color that I want that matches my branding colors a little bit better. So I'm going to put that off until a future market. For now, I'm going to work with the wire grids that I do have. And so I bought some poster board to help cover up those wire grids. That way I have something to display the acrylic charms on. And I'm going to work with that. I had to settle for a black poster board because I did not want to color a white one in my brand colors. And what I figured would be kind of like a happy middle, good enough, would pretty much be just putting things that are closer to my brand color, maybe like coloring in some white index cards to create some signs, and we'll work from there pretty much. And I also have some craft paper that is close to my branding color, so I might use that. So yeah, that's where we're at. I did pick up a couple of more supplies for the table, and last night didn't get a chance to film again. I did film the crochet, but my battery died, and I believe where we left off was the foot of the jackalope, and everybody be nice to him, he's a little bald. So this is progress on the jackalope so far. I do have the ears and the antlers crocheted already. I do still need to crochet the tail because I forgot about the tail. And the way things are right now, I think I should have crocheted the legs a little bit lower because his bottom is still a little bit rounded. So when I set him down to kind of sit on his own, he's a little bit unstable. So I'm hoping that once I add the tail, the tail is going to kind of act like a third leg to kind of help keep him stable. So we'll see what happens when I attach the tail. As for the eyes, They feel a little small. I don't know if I'll go up in size for the safety eyes. And personally, I think that this pattern is simple enough that I can make a couple of more of these without too much of a hassle. So yeah, progress on the jackalope. He still has his missing ears and antlers, so those are going to go on soon. So this one's almost done. And I'm thinking I'm going to make another one in brown and maybe another two in gray. I still need to finish the other Chubzilla, so that is also in the whip bin. And one of the things that I said that I would do is also make some dango, at least a tricolor dango, because I have the perfect colors for the tricolor dango. And I would need to create a pattern for that, but thankfully it's a simple enough of a pattern that I think I can figure out, because it's just going to be 3 spheres and a stick. So yeah. That's pretty much where we're at right now, and slowly getting everything together. I'm starting to feel more confident with the amigurumi I'm going to bring with me. I also started looking into manufacturing timelines for the acrylic charms, and I'm kind of concerned that those will not get to me in time, because Vogue Race has a 60-day guarantee, and we're beyond the 60-day guarantee. So it'll be kind of like a toss-up if they'll get to me before the market even begins. So yeah, not to mention I would need to do B grading or like quality grading, and not to mention I did mention that some of the sticker designs I'm debating if I want to get them into acrylic charm designs as well. But I'm beginning to look at things, and I think right now, I think I'm just going to have to cut it at a loss and just settle on the lads acrylic charms and get that ordered in sooner rather than later. Which means that I will have to spend some time over the weekend preparing the files for Vogue Race, because I discussed this yesterday, but at least I think I did. When I color, I use an RGB color profile, and basically the RGB color profile is supposed to be more of a light-based color set, so it kind of gives you more options in terms of colors, but the problem is that when you go to print them, those same colors don't exist within a CMYK, so whenever you print from RGB to CMYK, printers will often have to make estimated guesses of what they think would be the best match. And Vogue Race is one of the companies that if you don't provide the CMYK files, they'll do their own estimated guesses, and for me, I'd rather take care of the CMYK myself. And I do have software to kind of help with those color profiles and get things adjusted. So I'm going to have to set some time aside to do that for the lads boys. And the thing to remember, it's not only do I have to do it for the acrylic charms, I also need to do it for the physical prints and the stickers. So I'm not sure, because the last time I ordered stickers, I ordered them from Vogue Race because I just could not get, what was it, Sticker Giant to work, so I ended up going with Vogue Race, but I think I want to go with something that will deliver within that 1 month time frame, and I also still need to get my other stickers designed. So yeah, right now the priority is going to be towards getting the files ready for the acrylic charms, and because I'm going to have to do 2 different sets, because one is going to be converting RGB to CMYK for the prints, and then another one for the RGB to CMYK for the for just the acrylic charms, because the other thing is too, I need a size down, because when I draw the boys, I draw them on a 4x6 canvas. I personally prefer the 2.5 inch acrylic charms, so I'm also gonna have to shrink them down 2 size. So yeah, that's where we're at, and yeah, so there's quite a bit to get done, and later today I might even work on the display table, because I have more of the supplies that I need, and this will give me a better idea of what my table is looking like so far with what I do have. So a lot of things to get done, and May is that much closer, so we're gonna do our best. I thought I'd give you guys a quick preview before I go figure out what I'm gonna do in terms of drawing, if I'm gonna make more sticker designs or if I'm gonna actually do what I'm supposed to and focus in on getting those acrylic charms ordered. Anyway, so I did start creating a mock-up of the 8x8 space that they're going to give me for the market. And when I first made the square, I'm just like, holy shit, this is huge. But then when you remember that you're going to eventually have a 6-foot table, and you're also going to need a space to walk around in the back, you quickly realize like, oh, okay, I actually, it's not a lot of room because eventually there will be a table. And part of me was debating on bringing in the 4x4 table that I do have, but then I realized like that's probably not going to work all too well, depending on how I decide to set it up, because if anything, it might just not be as space effective as I think it is. So that's one thing I'm going to have to test out. I don't have the 6-foot table with me, so I am going to draw another rectangle within this square and maybe even do a quick little mock-up of the table, because what I'm going to be doing is just putting in the borders that I have to work with, and then I'm going to pretty much just set up everything up on the floor. So right now, I do have all the merch that I have available out. So I have my prints in that bin over here, some of the amigurumi in here and in this bag. I have my stickers in there. So funny thing about this storage container, it was supposed to be for the prints, but I messed up when I ordered my prints, so they're a little too big for the little containers for the photo cards. So now this is where I keep my stickers and my business cards for the meantime. And then here is where I have my acrylic charms. So right now the only acrylic charms I offer are the 4 Daya acrylic charms and the 2 Tokyo Revenger acrylic charms. So hoping I'll be able to sell these. As for the Daya and the Tokyo Revengers, I want to make more Tokyo Revengers charms because I know the next season is still coming out. Daya I'm still a little bit more iffy on because it's not as big or not as active of a fandom in my opinion. Or I don't know, I haven't been marketing well at all, so there's also that factor. But the next season is also coming out, so I'm debating on whether or not to continue the Succubus series. So we'll see. Because I do have a design for Furuya, and I incorporate like a little polar bear into the design. So that's besides the point. But essentially, the things that I need to set up the table are here, and I'll set some time aside over the weekend to kind of begin building things out and setting things up. So this is how the mock-up is looking like right now. Firstly, I'd like to apologize to my neighbor for that scene from my audiobook because that was quite graphic. Anyway, the audiobook is pretty much what's holding me together long enough to work on my order for Vogue Race. So pretty much because all of the boys were drawn in different poses, and I'm human, so not everything is going to remain consistent among all of them. Style-wise, it's there. Sizing-wise, they are going to vary a little bit. I did mention in the past that Caleb's head compared to the others did feel a lot larger, which it was larger. And so ultimately, the scales are going to vary between all of them because they are in different poses. For one, Silas's head is probably the smallest, and largest head is probably between Caleb and Raphael. So because these are going to be part of a series and I don't want to do the same goof up I did with the Daya charms, I want them to be roughly the same size. Even though it's not going to be perfect, I want them to be within scale of each other to the best that I possibly can, and still be within that 2.5 inch range. So I'm on the Vogue Race Discord server, so thankfully they're very helpful on there, and somebody provided me the tip that if you could just list out the sizes that you want them to be on a separate piece of, or in a different file, or in a different layer, that will help. But essentially, try to get them within the canvas size that you need it, and then it'll pretty much be a back and forth trying to get the final proofs laying flat. So as I mentioned, Zane and Silas are probably both in the running for smallest heads. More Zane than anything, because Zane's head is a little bit taller than it is wider. Caleb's head is just wider, and kind of similar thing going on with Raphael. Silas's head is within range, but with his pose being the way that it is, yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but if the charms are able to stay within range of each other proportionally, I'll be happy. But it's not going to be perfect, but so long as they're like roughly within the same size, because the Dia charms got very skewed and I would love to reprint them, but I need to get rid of the current stock that I do have. So yeah, there's that. Not to mention, until the next season comes out of Dia, I don't see those charms leaving my person anytime soon. But ultimately, this is what I got, and I think this is as good as I'm going to get it. I'm very nervous still, but for the most part, they'll fall within range of each other, and have been kind of comparing it against a... Is this... Okay, yeah, that's better. I have been kind of comparing it, because 2.3 is roughly going to fall around here, because this is going to be 2.25. So everything, well, 2.25 is going to be closer to here. So Raphael is going to be smaller in scale compared to the others. I could try to bump it up to 2.25, maybe. But yeah, for the most part, they're all going to fall within this range of the 2.5 mark. Maybe I could scale up Raph a little bit, because here, this is 2.5. 2.25 is right here. Raphael is going to fall a little beneath that, so maybe bump his up a little bit, because Caleb is at 2.36. Xavier is at 2.42, so they're going to fall pretty close to that 2.5 threshold. Yeah, Raphael, I think I may... His head is just huge is the problem. His head is just huge. I think I'll leave him the way he is. It's just his head. But yeah. This is pretty much... They're pretty much ready to go. Their individual files are ready to go. And I'll just put in the order and hope for the best. This is like my second time ordering charms. So it's trial by fire. You learn with every... You learn your process better with every iteration you step through the process. So I don't think that was the clearest way to explain it. I think better way to word it is that with every time that you need to do the process, you'll learn something new and it'll refine over time. So this is only my second time ordering charms, so we can only get better from here. And if anything, it gives me a better idea of if I am going to make a series in the future. I think I need to do pretty much what I did between Xavier and Caleb and work on the base sketches at the same time, work on the line art at the same time. So this is definitely a learning process. Or yeah, this is a learning process. So because for context, I worked on Raphael, Silas, and Zane at different intervals. So I worked on Raphael first, finished Raphael before hopping on to Silas, finished Silas, then went to Zane. Xavier and Caleb are the only two that I pretty much worked on at the same time. So I feel like they seem to kind of fall within range of each other, like size-wise, style-wise. But yeah, for future, I think moving forward, whenever I work on a series of charms, I'm going to make the sketches at the same time, the line art at the same time, and then color at the same time. Then rendering, they'll be just like, they'll pretty much get done. Yeah. Yeah, so just pretty much get them all done roughly at around the same time. So I think that's going to be part of the process in the future. I've been wanting donuts, but I haven't been wanting to go out to a donut shop to get them. So I found a recipe from Preppy Kitchen. And he pretty much made an air fryer version of the donut. I will admit, they're not pretty looking. I didn't even bother cutting out the holes in the middle. But I just wanted like something very quick. I did make a nube glaze. And the dough is very sticky. I did not know how to work with it. Hence, you have some oddly shaped donuts. But I just really wanted donuts. And I left a couple of them plain, primarily because when I was in Japan, one of the donut shops we went to had this like pepperoni pizza donut, so I'm keeping some of them plain so that I can just put marinara, cheese, and pepperonis on it, because That pizza donut was so good, and pretty much all this is just like a very wet dough. You're supposed to put it in the air fryer, but I just decided to stick in my oven because I didn't want to babysit my air fryer because I still had to review the vlog, and while I'm reviewing the vlog, I'm also crocheting another Chubzilla. So quick donuts just to kind of kick that donut craving, and maybe for lunch I'll do a pizza donut as well. So I just ate the small tiny one, and I think I added a little too much liquid to my glaze, but it's kind of hard when I was working with such a small quantity of powdered sugar to begin with. But I digress. If you want a donut that's not deep fried and a little less oil than your typical donut, I highly recommend using the Preppy Kitchen's recipe, mainly because it's very soft, it's very fluffy, and it has a very similar mouthfeel to a fried donut or something that you would get at a donut shop. So highly recommend the recipe. It's really good. I will say that the dough is very sticky and a little difficult to work with if you're not ready to work with a very wet, sticky dough. But overall, would do this again, especially if I have another donut craving kick and I don't want something too heavy. So highly recommend. Vogue Grace got back to me with the proofs for the acrylic charms, and so I probably, this one is more on me, but I probably should have specified with Silas if we could have the hole coming in somewhere around here so that it gives the illusion that he's lying down. But the other thing that I'm noticing, and this is more of a on me, not them kind of issue, I'm realizing that there's like this magenta film on top of Raphael, and it's one of those issues that I have with Affinity Photo, because this is what the original document looks like. Now, whenever I do PSD exports, and I thought this was just going to be an issue with the preview, because I open, so the file that's currently open is the PSD, so the colors look just fine. But when you do the preview in PSD, you get like this little magenta hue that just overlaps the image, and it becomes more obvious on, oh, sorry, I was comparing it with an old file. It becomes more obvious with Raphael because he's got a lot of more pinks and purples, and I realize that that difference in color tends to be more prominent whenever there's a pink or anything with a magenta somewhere in the color scheme. So it's much more noticeable on Raphael, so it's part of the reason I was able to notice it. And you can even notice it in Caleb's eyes as well, that they're far more saturated than they should be. Silas, you can't really see it as much, but his forehead is definitely pinker than it should be, at least from my view. Xavier looks like he came out just fine. The blues look a little saturated, but for the most part, like, I know when I did the preview for Xavier previously, when I did the previews for Xavier previously, when you try to do the export on, let's say, Xavier, for example, let me close that. Like, his hair will literally turn into a silver. It's not as much of an ash blonde. So I know this is an issue with Affinity Photo Studio, where the previews will get that magenta film. But the thing is, like I said, is that the file that I have open right now is the PSD file itself. It's not the the actual export. And I've actually brought this up in the past with their support team, and it seems like it still hasn't gotten fixed, or I just need to update my software. But yeah, I'm still having that issue. Let me try updating it, because I will have to resend the files to make sure that they're the right colors, because yeah, it's like I said, the others isn't as noticeable. It's the most noticeable on RAF, and yeah, I need to get that fixed. I'm probably going to resend the files as PNGs or something. Also, before anyone brings up the RGB is different than CMYK, I'm aware of that fact, and I've done my research in the past, and I'm aware with a lot of printers, they will not print RGB, they will only print in CMYK, and most drawing softwares by default will save their files into the RGB color profile. So either you request your printer to convert it to a CMYK color profile, or you convert it yourself, which that's part of the reason why I put things into Affinity Photo. And that's primarily because they have the option to convert from that RGB to that CMYK, and it is listed out on Vogue Grace's site. that what they require is the Japan Color 2001 coated CMYK. And so if you look at the settings, this is designer. I do have it set to Japan Color 2001 coated. So yeah, it's not even like a color profile issue. It's just the export. I don't know what Affinity Photo does to the images that like the export colors shift from what's you're actually seeing in your editing file. So I'm gonna try exporting them to PNGs and send it to my sales rep and see if maybe we can get it addressed. But yeah, I will be sending back a little bit of feedback. I do need to make the adjustments myself for the color, and it's just weird that it does that. I'm gonna have to export all of them again, and again, just show everyone Japan Color 2001 coded, and this is a CMYK color profile. And I know I meticulously check for these things too, so it's like my resolution is just fine on top of that. So yeah, that's where we're at. I've decided while I wait for IDV matches, I'd start working on my booth display for the market. And so far this is what I have tentatively, because I was thinking I could have one set back here so that I have like a little space to keep my stuff, and then flip it over for the amigurumi on this side, because I was thinking one side for my art prints, charms, and stickers, and then the other side for amigurumi. But the thing I realized is that I kind of don't like the idea of people having to reach in here, especially if they might bump the display. Also, didn't realize just how much space the blow boos alone would take up, so I may have to go one more up. And also did not realize that the Xavier still had some loose threads kind of hanging around. But yeah, so far this is just the blow boos. So I need to figure out how to fit things on my table so that I have enough room for all the amigurumi that I do have now. And oh, and those are the loaf cats with the blanket yarn, so loaf cats from hell. And so far, I was originally going to use this stand for both the prints and the stickers, but this barely fits the prints that I have available at the moment. And the funny thing is, while I was testing out the display yesterday, I kind of just tossed Joseph in one of the random slots, and quite literally, like, I rolled over laughing because that's all you see. Anyway, as for Yukimi and Joseph, I don't think I'm going to bring either of them because while they're not explicit, they are a bit more on the suggestive side, ignoring that those four exist. But these two are more so on the suggestive side, and so I don't know what the rules are, and I, for the life of me, cannot navigate the resources, and I'm pretty sure everything's just posted on Facebook. So, to play it safe, I'm thinking of just hanging back on these, or maybe even just putting up a sign that says, ask about 16 plus, 18 plus, well, I'd feel more comfortable saying 18 plus. Ask about 18 plus illustrations. But I also kind of don't want to do it when these are the only two I have. But yeah, so yeah, Joseph and Yukimi are probably both going to have to sit this one out. The chibis aren't as bad, and aside from that, this was another one that I was debating on mainly because of the subject matter, but I'll leave it there. Yeah, so this is the tentative display right now. I'm going to have to make adjustments because I don't like the layout as it stands at the moment, and I'm trying to keep it within a 6 foot space. So yeah, this is progress. Okay, while I have you guys here, so just for context, this is Joseph based off of his Moonlight Gentleman skin, so this one right here. Because he's lying down like that, I can't really get the details from the front. But yeah, Joseph's Moonlight Gentleman skin, just made sexy. And then Yukimi, which Yukimi is an OC from mine and Liza's Omegaverse. And Yukimi is the son of Furihata and Murasaki Bara. And yeah, we love him very much. Here is progress for the evening. I ran out of connectors, so this is all I can do. Genuinely, I didn't want the grid display to go this high, but given that my postcards are going to be down here, I still need to make a display for the acrylic charms, and I need to figure out a way to display my stickers. Because for the acrylic charms, I was thinking of using the poster board to kind of create a backing to put them on, so it would cover up the grid display. One of the things I failed to take into consideration is that you can see through the back, but I think this one is easily remedied with a tablecloth, so that's not going to be too much of a hassle, because I was tempted to get a plastic grid display, or like the plastic cubes instead. Not instead, but in addition to these. But I remembered this will pretty much cover up this little bit right here. And again, tablecloth for that side. And the other thing that I remembered is that there is a company that does customized covers for the grid displays. And it reminded me that I do sew. So I'm more than capable of creating covers for these. And given that it will be fabric, and I can also do it in my branding colors, the only issue with the fabric is will it be sturdy enough to support my acrylic charms. But yeah, things I need to consider. And so this is my progress for the evening. I genuinely don't know how to end this vlog. All I do know is that I can feel the pang of a throb in my head, which is a warning that I probably should go to bed now. And I'm learning how to read my body, and pretty much the pattern for this entire week has been work until I feel a throb in my head, go lay down, take a nap, rest, then either resume work or just do something to relax. So been trying to learn those signals, and I just felt like a small little pang just now, so I think that's just a warning that I've done enough for the day. Because I'll be completely honest, there is a part of me that kind of like that second wind kicked in. I finished my journal and my tarot read for the week, and I kind of got hit by a second wind that pretty much just wants to work on crochet a little bit more. But like I said, that is fair warning that that is enough. So I will be going to bed soon, and I do also want to talk about the audiobook I've been listening to, because I've really been enjoying it, and it's just like like it's the right kind of like male lead, and I'm also enjoying the female lead very much, and pang in my head, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But just to give you guys an update of where we ended Sunday, which was supposed to be a rest day, but I just let myself crochet because I just felt like crocheting. But anyway, we do now have our, what is this, 6th Chubzilla? 6th? And it's a little emo guy. And one thing I noticed is that the gray yarn is a little thinner than the red yarn. So yeah, new Chubzilla. We got the completed jackalope. I don't know if I'm going to give him a mouth or a nose, not sure yet. He doesn't have one in the pattern in the book, so that's undecided, but one completed jackalope, and we are starting a new one. I didn't really get to sticker designs this evening, kind of left a lot of things for last minute that I just wanted to wrap up before going to bed, but yeah. My camera is also flashing red at me, and my head is telling me to go to bed, so we'll wrap up the vlog here, and once again, thank you for joining me this week, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Bye bye.